Hey, Podcast America, welcome to episode 69 of the Enlightened Neanderthals. Yeah, go figure.
Hell yeah. Tell your mom.
It's a family show.
Yeah, sorry.
Talk about my own company, Training Northwest, which you can find at trainingnorthwestllc.com. We just finished the Rifleman camp, which you will hear a little bit about here in a minute. And our last publicly listed class of 2024 will be October 5th, which you can find on the website and register for. Mike?
Yes?
Where'd we go from Rifleman camp?
I took you boys, I held you underwater, and I did my way with you. No, that's what happened. You guys, you resisted. There was a lot of resistance. And it's like, no, man, esoteric mind of Mike, he wants to go down his own rabbit holes. I see a lot of connections through a lot of things.
Yeah, dude.
And I wanted to take it a little bit towards how
23.
animals evolve, how society, how technology, and through everything in what I call the open market of evolution occurs. And how man is an inflated market. And from there, what is that? Open market, that is truth. That's information. What is the inflated market? That, my friend, is misinformation.
And that is cursive. Enjoy the show.
Get ready.
This?
Yeah.
What is it? Glenfiddich? What's that good scotch?
Glenfiddich.
Glenfiddich.
It's good. I like it.
Birthday scotch.
Birthday.
I feel very sophisticated.
This is what you drink as a 41-year-old man. Oh, Jordan, pinky up.
Yeah.
So this show is going to be a wreck by the time we get done. Is that what I'm hearing?
Probably.
What do you mean?
The wrecks are the best one. Some would say sex robots are a wreck, but sometimes they prevail. The things you think will be the worst become the best.
Yeah.
I haven't done weird research this week because of Rifleman camp. Maybe we should do a little recap of Rifleman.
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea. I have a thought that I want to bring up with you guys, but we did just come off the range, like 24 hours ago?
Pretty much.
From Rifleman camp.
I've got thoughts.
Yeah, I want to hear it because, honestly, I was working my ass off the entire weekend. It's a high-stress 3 days for me, and it looked like everybody left happy, so I'm relieved, I guess. And then Monday, I took the day off Monday and somehow still managed to be, ridiculously busy.
Not emotionally, but it mentally wears you out.
Yeah.
You have so much to be responsible for that. Yeah. I would imagine 3 days of being on it just smokes you as a person.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we have to be on top of the safety during the range sessions, right? Because we're pushing everybody's comfort zones and limits a little bit. And then just the fact that it's my business, it's my baby. And I have this sense of when I accept people's money, I have to give them a good product.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable.
Value for value.
Yeah. It's unacceptable to me to not put out a good product when people are paying their hard-earned money.
Yeah. Everyone was happy. And I think so many people enjoyed that night shoot.
Yeah.
Everyone enjoyed that night shoot.
Really?
Oh, my God.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That makes me happy.
Yeah, I've never done that before. And just doing the drills in the dark with a flashlight was a blast.
Oh, yeah. That makes me happy.
Yeah, because the first year, that was, I mean, just kind of goes to show, improving from year to year, because we talked about it as soon as that was over. It was like, oh, man, the flashlights would have been sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, boom. You're in it.
Didn't we do that last year? I'm pretty sure we did a white light shoot on Friday.
Yeah, but I think it was, really early or something. There was something that happened.
I was not there for day one last year.
We did white light. I know we did white light, but it wasn't. I guess I was.
I know we did
this
too.
year.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you weren't there this year. But
Yeah.
Either way, it's fun. It's been fun both times.
Yeah.
And that, like I said, it's sometimes I have to remember that things that. Oh, how do I put this the right way? I guess I worry too much that I'm not putting out a good enough product, and I have to remember that these are new experiences or novel experiences for folks, that I kind of take for granted.
Yeah.
Like to Dave and Greg and I, to stay out late and shoot under white lights is like,
son of a bitch.
Damn, man, it's fucking dark. Like, don't we want to be in bed?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's because we've done it a lot.
Yeah. And for us virgins.
Yeah, but again,
popping cherries.
Like I said, it's hard, or it's good for me to keep perspective that this is for some. Like, I used to be really enthusiastic about it when I was a 19-year-old private in the Ranger Regiment. I was like, this is the best night of my fucking life.
Well, I saw some very excited 40-year-olds too, so I mean it carries over. Yeah. But you're jaded because you've done so many different things, whereas the common shooter, common man,
and then it's also coupled with the stress of just wanting things to go well.
Yeah. And I feel I missed last year, the opening day. And I always hear of guns and geese and like the camaraderie and the group and stuff like that. And so this year I went on opening day, as I would like to call it. And it was a blast. We shot until 10 o'clock almost.
We put some rounds down range on Friday.
Oh man. I spent
from 1 o'clock. Yeah, you're right. From 1 o'clock almost till 10 o'clock. Solid. Hang on a minute. Did we take a break for med class? I think we had first aid that evening.
I thought we did first aid then Saturday.
No. We did first aid.
Okay, and we did a lot.
So we did have a break from the range for first aid class, and then we went back on the range after dark for white lights.
Yeah, that's right. But it was like I missed the first day last year, and I always hear, like I said, guns and geese and the camaraderie and stuff like that. And after we finished shooting that Friday night shoot, everyone was so psyched from shooting it. Everyone was like, did you see those silhouettes? And it was like everyone, I think, felt like they were on the night patrol, like taking care of their house. But then we finished and everyone kind of went back to their cars, and Tobin's like, do as you will, be responsible, and I'll see you in the morning at 8. And I kind of felt like it was a little bit of my role to step in and like sit with the group and bring everyone together.
Be like, you guys want to smoke this?
A little bit. We did a little bit of that, and I had 2 beers. That was it. But everyone was kind of sitting by their car in a lawn chair, and I felt like it was like, all right, I'm going to hold court and start pulling people in and pulling things out of them. And the next thing you know, it was like 11:15, and everyone's bonding, everyone's talking. The father-son, we're talking about hog hunting. The whole group is hearing, and it felt nice because everyone's kind of new, and everyone like has a little bit of a guard up, and it's like, here's this idiot that knows people, Mike Kozak, and he's like, tell me about you. What do you do? Tell me why you're here.
Hey guys, do you like idea sex?
Yeah, pretty much. But it was fun, and like I said, I think everyone. It
was a fun group for sure.
Yeah, it was like 11:30, and I was like, all right, we should probably call it, but people were still revved for more. And I think that's important to start to get the group together and people on the same page.
It was a really fun group from the instructor perspective as well. And I think a lot of those guys are planning on coming back next year.
Well,
that might be the best compliment I got at the end of the courses. A lot of the guys were already like, hey man, can I just sign up now for next year?
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think there was I think it's important to be able to have the group setting where you start to talk and hang out, because then you're going to be shooting rifles next to each other in a bounding drill tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, you should probably get to know each other a little bit. And, I mean, obviously, I think you guys already had selected buddies at that point.
Well, we had a couple father-son tandems, which that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then we had guys like Nick and Chris from the gym who are cousins, so that made sense.
Is that how they know each other? They're cousins?
Yes. Yeah, I didn't know that until this weekend.
I thought they were lovers. Sorry, gotta put that out there. They're there.
Is that off the table?
My daddy says I'm the best kisser in the county.
Yeah. But I encourage people to or to partner up with a friend or someone from their social group, just because, and not go with a stranger because
that's who you're going to be with. If
that's how you get AIDS.
Yeah, battle buddy.
Well, sorry. I mean, because that's who's going to be to your right or left if you ever actually get into a two-way altercation.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
And if I sound hoarse, it's because I've been shouting on the range for 8 days.
That night you were, oh God. Or the third day, the morning, we're sitting out there drinking coffee, and he's like, oh, shit. Uh-oh. Like,
No, but it was good. It was fun to see people come together, and especially people that have never met each other. Like,
okay, and I got to say, the best thing about it for me is that my 12-year-old son crushed it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was
in basketball shorts.
Yeah, in basketball. In basketball shorts and a bino harness.
Dude, the third day he had one white knee-high sock and one black ankle sock
with
on.
3 shirts on.
0 fucks.
You can tell it was like, all right, we're going to the range. Like, get ready. Like,
pack some fucking socks on.
Pack for Rifleman camp. And he's like, I'll bring 3 shirts. I don't necessarily need 2 jackets, but yeah. He was like, it was soaked. My jacket was soaked. So I put on 3 shirts.
Yeah.
I was like,
At least he's thinking.
oh, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Oh,
Knees all scraped up from crawling around with basketball shorts. He was like, but I could go play a basketball game right now. Could you? I'm like, good point.
Solid
Good
point.
point. Yep. If a game on 3-3 broke out, you'd be the asshole.
You'd probably dominating. Yeah. But it's fun. That's only the second time I've let him touch an AR. And he looked like he knew what he was doing. He did know what he was doing.
Mm-hmm. No, that was good.
And it's kind of funny. Like, it kind of reinforces my philosophy, which is that I made the boys learn how to shoot with a bolt action 22 with iron sights. And they wanted to have a scope or a red dot or something on it. And I said, no, not until when I consider you an expert with those iron sights, you can get that scope. And so now to put an AR with a red dot, if you know how to really shoot, it's like a point and click cheat code. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that's what he's doing. He's pointing and clicking, and he's like, this is easy. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's fucking fun, isn't it? Too? He's like,
yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. So we tried to get him to use Jordan's 22 AR conversion or whatever so that I could save some money. What did he tell you?
I pulled up. I was like, hey, come here, bud. And he walks over, and I was like, here you go. And he was like, no, that's okay. I want to use the real one. I want to shoot the real bullets. And I was like, okay. He was like, that's a 22, right? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, nah, I'm going to shoot real bullets. I was like, they are real bullets. Yeah, he wasn't having it.
That cost me some money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I shot a lot.
Yeah.
I think I shot around 800, 900 rounds.
That's the unsaid secret of being an instructor is that you don't shoot anywhere near as many rounds as the students do.
Yeah.
But you get reps all the time because I'm out there running courses. So I stay kind of current without the high round count.
Mm-hmm. It's fun.
Until my 12-year-old comes out to the range and it's like, holy fuck, dude, you shot the whole bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I add a bit of what maybe something I'd like to see next year? For medical, Brent did phenomenal, as always.
Oh, yeah. And shout out to our friend Brent at Project 223, who ran the medical and ham radio course out there. He did a great job.
He did a phenomenal job, as always. But
drinking from a fire hose.
I think just like anything, reps are the most important thing to do to get something ingrained. And something I would like to see is maybe next year, you know how you carry that big dick stick, for working malfunctions?
I feel like it's long and thin.
Well, it's big in my eyes. But
all I know is it hurts when it hits your face.
I want to see that whole time, no matter what. If it's like, hey, 10-minute water break, I want him to run over and have that stick and hit someone in the arm or hit him in the leg. And it's like
the casualty stick.
Put a tourniquet.
Okay.
Do a tourniquet quick as you can.
The dick stick is what we cause malfunctions with.
Yeah.
The casualty stick is what we designate someone a casualty with. But it's the same stick.
It's the same stick.
It's the same stick.
And I want it to be used.
I like that idea. Just that random moment, slap someone upside
all
the leg,
time.
You're hit.
All the time, because people put some tourniquets on, but it's like, let's constantly
put a
work
little
at this.
pushback on that. and I like it, but I think it could be better, and I want to optimize training opportunities.
You want them to react to contact at random moments?
I want him to
That would
use
actually be awesome.
paintball gun
Hit you in the thigh.
and shoot people with red paint.
Yeah. Well, I'm not opposed.
That would be awesome.
So we got to get a Tipman Pro.
He could
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
guys.
But I think that's the fun part because that's what
You want people to react, of course.
but that's what
Turn on
chaos is when you think everything's calm and normal and then all of a sudden you get hit with a situation, react in that situation. And that's kind of what this weekend is stress inoculation and getting you used to it. And I want to see when people have their guard down that all of a sudden they have to be on the spot and perform.
just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, my mountain house.
I-
Boom.
I-
You've been shot in the arm.
Yeah. Get it on. Yeah,
We need one of those fireworks we had from 4th of July.
Oh, God. Everyone will be
We'll
down.
catastrophically burn somebody,
Yeah.
and then you guys will have to treat them.
Sorry, Crystal. It'll heal.
Okay, so I had
Could
this.
hardly tell.
Yeah.
Okay, I had this thought that I wanted to run by you guys. This hit me the other day, and I was reading a post that I saw.
Oh, I thought you were going to say poem.
No, not a poem, but it. Oh, Jesus Christ! It just reset itself. Here we go. Okay, this is from a Twitter account called Wall Street Apes, which whatever the fuck that means. It says Elon Musk made it clear during the Donald Trump X interview. Trump means global security. The people in London, UK agree. Our message to Donald Trump, to the United States, and every American who's watching this: your election in November is far bigger than your country. Donald Trump is needed in this world to bring back peace. His leadership is needed to save the West. All our countries are being flooded. They are destroying our cultures. They are bringing us down. This is an attack on the West. There's only one person who can stop it. You have an opportunity in November with this election, Donald Trump. So that sounds very 1930s Germany to me. Like Hitler is our savior. No matter what you do, or not no matter what you do, like he's the only one who can dig our country out of this mess. That to me went too far. And it crossed my mind that with all the illegal immigrants in the country and the number of people clamoring to round them up and get them out, and one of his 20 campaign promises was to deport all of the illegal immigrants. Is he really in disguise the dictator that's going to be installed as the surveillance state takes full effect? Like facial recognition cameras, all that type of stuff. Checkpoints to see if you have your papers in the name of rounding up illegal immigrants, and all the pro-freedom patriots will cheer for it because it's Donald Trump and they're looking for illegal immigrants. But really what it will do is institute total control in the United States. And this is very to me, I am very worried about what will happen if Trump takes office and begins a campaign of rounding up the quote unquote illegal immigrants. And it's remindful of the Patriot Act in 2003. And I remember laughing at like, what the fuck do I care if a bunch of Muslim terrorists get locked up in Guantanamo Bay with no trial and no charges? Just fuck them, keep them there forever. And then, 10, 15 years later, suddenly it's like, oh shit, they turned the Patriot Act on us. Well, now it's a big deal, and we all cheered for it in 2003 because terrorists, and now it's 2024, and everybody's cheering for this massive law enforcement operation against quote unquote illegal immigrants. But then what happens when that's over? Yeah. Or what happens parallel to that?
Well, I think it's one of those pretty well. There's a finish line to it, right?
Is there?
I
finish lines always change.
Is there a finish line to NDAA and the Patriot Act? Because right now, there is a prison in
Yeah.
Guantanamo Bay,
I
Cuba, run
understand
by the
that,
United
but-
States military. Hang on. Where if you are labeled a domestic terrorist,
Mm-hmm.
you can be placed indefinitely with no charge.
trial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And no representation.
Yes.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But I think that people aren't going to go to prison. They're going to go out of the country and get exported, right?
Illegal immigrants.
Okay.
Is that who you're saying?
Yes.
Yes, I agree with that. But then what happens to the apparatus that was used to round them up?
Yeah.
You think they'll just disassemble it?
Well, they never do,
They
right?
certainly would never use it against us, would they?
I don't know. I'm also not an illegal immigrant.
Yeah, but you could be considered a domestic terrorist.
Yeah.
And so it's like you want due process, you want a judicial system.
But that what's the due process for
due
an illegal
process
immigrant?
is you want, in all this stuff, it's you want representation. You want due process to hear your side of things. When you make anything a blanketed, that's why, what was it? NDAA?
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially when Obama revised it in 2012.
I forget the year, but his campaign promise in his first election was to
get rid
repeal it.
Yeah, to get rid of it.
Then he expanded it.
Yes, which was weird. And to me, what this is like,
The more you expand or add to the government, the more money you are creating for the government, because the more taxes you're going to take from the people, right?
but not
And
only
that's-
money, but power.
But
The two
that's-
are,
This was an
thing.
expansion of power and authorities to use.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But do you think
surveillance
there's going to
apparatus.
be? You think there's going to be a team put together? Because isn't that one of the other campaign promises is to disband certain?
the FBI?
Yeah.
I don't think that made
not
his
in
list.
Trump. That was
Yeah,
Vivek
that was Vivek.
and
Oh, was it?
RFK
Yeah.
more so was
Okay.
getting rid of a lot of agencies.
I mean, what's the alternative at this point?
I don't know, but I don't want. I think it's
I-
very
I
dangerous. Hang on,
agree.
it's very dangerous to allow the surveillance state to be set up and implemented in the name of
And give
exporting illegal
yeah,
immigrants.
and give them power. I understand that. You think it's worth not doing anything about it?
I would rather live with those people in this country than live in a country that has facial recognition cameras mounted
Without
on
question.
stop
Without
signs
question.
and- yeah.
Yeah.
Because remember back in the day, George W. granted asylum to how many millions of illegals to stay in the United States? I think it was like 3 or 6 million. And he's just like, amnesty. You guys are now here. You're fine. You're part of this country. And that happened under W, which was a Republican, which is supposed to be hardline stuff. But I think there were so many people already coming through. And I mean, this is not new what's been happening. This is a wall that's been I don't mean to use the term wall like a real wall, but this is like there's a wall of people that have been coming to the United States from socialist, corrupt, all kinds of governments from South America.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it means I think, like Tobin's saying, just because people are trying to find a better way of life, if Lake Stevens
The most
fell
American
apart
thing you can do is come to this country.
Yeah.
That's the most American thing you
Well,
can do.
but also like
And work.
And work. Yeah.
Yeah.
but if Lake Stevens fell apart or America fell apart, it'd be like, yeah, I want to go to the new place. You know, I want to go to somewhere where I have more opportunity.
We would have the same idea.
So
That's why I have no ill thoughts about someone who wants to come here and just work for a better life. That's all good. That's what the country is built upon.
Yeah.
But when it comes to
That is the idea.
Yeah.
But Tobin said this like 4 podcasts ago. He's like, what if this is what like how you get a police state, which is, I think, what he's getting at now. Like, what if it's like, oh, we have all these illegals, and it's like
that's how we got
country.
a surveillance or the beginnings of a surveillance state. Is we all cheered for the Patriot Act, and then they passed a few resolutions that allowed the Patriot Act to be used at home, and now the NSA, the FBI can basically spy on you.
Well, we spoke of this a while ago about the government oversight committee that was started in the early 70s due to all the assassinations in the lacks of protocol of the CIA and the FBI in the 60s. And it's like, yeah, when you have, and think of it as anything, think of it as a kid, and you're like, do whatever you want. Well, that kid's going to abuse power. You do that to an adult and you say, do whatever you want, you're going to abuse power. What we're seeing, because we're seeing it in live time, I think, is we're seeing when things are granted, the abilities are instantly had, but the repercussions of that. It is very hard for people or entities or systems not to abuse power when power is given to you. That has been the problem throughout history of a king that can rule an entire land and not be a tyrant.
Yeah, well, it's also like these apparatus that we create to combat enemies abroad. Then when they're mission complete, all these people aren't just going to up and be laid off or like kicked out of the military or out of whatever 3-letter agency. It's like, what do we do with all this equipment and know-how now? And they're like, I know, we'll go after domestic terrorists, right? Because that was a hot button sort of term at the time.
Yeah.
And now here we are. And it would be so easy to go from checkpoints looking for illegal immigrants to checkpoints making sure you got your vaccine. Because the checkpoint already exists. You just increase the number of stamps required in the passport to pass the checkpoint.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I told that idea to a guy at work today who we both know, who is very anti-vaccine lockdowns, like one of the loudest, most obnoxious proponents of freedom throughout the COVID lockdowns. And I said, dude, this could potentially be how the police state finally takes hold, is just like the Patriot Act came in the name of anti-terrorism, this could come in the name of deporting illegal immigrants. And his answer, I did not expect this. He's like, yeah, martial law is going to have to be declared. I've been prepared to stay at home for 6 months when they lock us down for this one. It's like, hang on, so you're cheering for it? This is the guy who was like, fuck no, I'm not doing a lockdown for COVID. Now he's cheering for a lockdown.
I'll do a lockdown for illegal.
It's interesting how you can engineer these different, exactly.
In your head.
Yeah, but
justify.
That's exactly.
That's social engineering at its finest.
Yeah, but that's exactly the point of tribalism. Like, that's what we're actually dealing with is, I think, that's why I love doing this, is because we get to debate and talk about what we think the best approaches or an idea is. Like, there are so many people against lockdown, myself included, but it's like when that becomes your life, and now all I do is I fight to stop this thing. And so maybe now you get a little power or you get a little authority, and it's like, so where do you stop? Where do you say we achieved our goal and we stop? It seems like when people or organizations start to get power, they don't stop. We won this first battle, so now there's another battle. And so you're constantly seeing battles happening towards you. And that's how you go from a Germany of the 30s.
Yeah.
Because
being under martial law
team.
while the illegals are rounded up is exactly what was happening in Germany in the late 30s.
But
everybody was under martial law while the Jews were rounded up.
But you're viewing yourself as a team, right? It's not
yes,
like...
and all the German people had been, because they had just gone through a giant economic crash, which, hello, mass inflation, right? Hello. And they had voted for this guy who they thought was going to be their political savior.
Yeah.
And so because they were all so on the bandwagon, nobody questioned it.
Well,
the parallels are fucking stunning.
The parallels are stunning, but we do have, once again, what technology wants. We have the ability for a little bit more communication and to see these things happening in real time. Yeah. I wonder what happens when you do have authoritarianism or groups that have a certain ideological perspective that they're trying to follow out.
Let me try and just wrap my head around reasoning of what's the point of getting rid of illegal immigrants?
What's the point?
What's the point? Why do we give a shit at all? Why would it matter? Why does it matter?
Only if they're A, criminals, or B, not contributing. I should say anybody who doesn't contribute to society, regardless of where you're born, should be fed to the orcas.
Okay, well, what does that look like? Having a job?
Trebuchet.
No, I understand that, but like, what does that look like for an illegal immigrant to contribute?
A job for the men and raising kids for the women.
Okay,
or both, or either way,
Yeah. And okay, so there you go. Like, because I could give a fuck about taxes. Mm-hmm. I've thought about it a lot. It's like they're not paying taxes. It's like,
yeah,
fuck.
Yeah,
they're good on them. You know what I mean? Like, I got no problem with that. Yep. I mean, they're living my best life at that point. So, but I do have a problem if they're using government aid.
Hang on, we're talking about two different issues. I'm with you on all of this.
Well, I'm just no. We're not talking about two different issues. I'm trying to wrap my head around why I would even give a shit if illegal immigrants were here. Not whether or not we're rounding them up. I'm stepping back and wondering. Yeah.
What does that look hang on. There is talk that it came from the mouth of Donald Trump, which means this is very scientific. That crime rates are dropping in Latin America because they're emptying their jails and sending their convicts north.
What if they are?
They might be.
And
the problem, who knows? Well, that is a problem because we don't. And you've seen the news stories like rapes and assaults and robberies and thefts and whatnot. That is a problem. So that is.
I went to a Simi Bird rally and he said there's 3 cartels in Eastern Washington right now.
Of course. How much fentanyl is in Puget Sound? There has to be a distribution network. There is so much fucking drugs in Washington State that there has to be an advanced distribution network. It's the only way it's possible. So that, and you get me all fired up about the lack of actual give a shit amongst law enforcement. Like, again, I'm back to telling cops to fucking clean up your shit because we are drowning in fucking narcotics and you guys are giving speeding tickets. Fuck you, meter maids. What were we talking about? I blacked out.
So coming out on the other side. But I mean, I agree 100%. I am trying to justify like why I would give a shit if illegal immigrants were here or not. And the one thing I do think is important though, and I really, I go back and forth. It's like, okay, so I have an ID. I have an accountability card, which is my Social Security card, that says, hey, Jordan, if you don't do this, you are this. Like, there is something in that. It's like a contract with the government, and I have to act accordingly.
Do you, though? Because I say they are not upholding their end of the contract.
Well, I'm just saying, if I'm holding
I'm
it
becoming
and somebody
more
else
pirate
is,
the longer I live.
Well, I understand that, but like I'm saying, I'm holding it, and I'm looking at these people who are like here and they don't have it, and I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. Like, why don't you have to? And then it's like, oh, you're just being a little bitch. You know what I mean? In my head, I'm justifying it as like, who gives a shit? If somebody comes here and they're creating problems, I am fucking without question kill them. Mm-hmm. If somebody's creating, and I'm talking like severe problems that deserve killing.
You're talking crime,
but I'm talking. I think people who live here should get fucking got for some certain
if you're
shit.
If you are a
maybe,
lifetime drain on the system,
maybe
you were born. I don't give a fuck if you were born in America.
Kick them down to
put
fucking
you in the
Peru
trebuchet and
fuck.
fucking feed you to the orcas.
Yeah,
At least then you'd be good for some.
Yeah,
they got to eat too.
Yeah, but I think I can help answer this.
The Pam.
You're
Pam
like, what do
situation?
they?
But hey, my entire point in this is that freedom is dangerous.
I understand.
And at times it's more dangerous than others. And I will accept all of the danger from all of the
I want all the freedom.
Criminal gangs.
Give me all the freedom.
Yes. In exchange to not have this
I want to wear my
authoritarian
shoes through the
state of control.
fucking airport.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm right there with you without question. Like that's a non-issue for me. Like the thought of having a face recognition software on every street corner. Oh, you got a gnarly one hanging out, buddy.
Wow.
That's okay.
You're gonna have to wash that shirt now.
No, that's yours.
No, it's
No,
not.
give it to
It's
Token.
my shirt.
You can have it.
I just got.
if it
It's
is.
gonna have to go in the wash.
I thought that was yours.
You guys want a crusty flannel?
No, I would. I'm trying to justify and not be, I guess, childish, because there is something kind of childish in like, well, I have to. Why doesn't he have to?
Yeah, but that's have you ever heard?
I
of
understand
the
that's a
lifeboat
normal
effect?
response, but that's not what I am.
Yeah, but have
Right?
you ever heard of the lifeboat effect?
No, I haven't.
So say there's a sinking ship and there's tons of people that are in the water and you somehow manage to get in a lifeboat and there's people everywhere and you're like, let me rescue some people. And you start rescuing some people and the boat gets more and more full.
Now you kill everybody.
Yeah. And as the boat gets more full, it's like we're running out of room, but we're going to keep taking on people. And eventually the more people we take, that's going to sink us. And now we're all dead.
And we're not the ones who swam
for
here. So
immigration, that's an interesting perspective because it's like we're all supposed to pay into the system. And if you get to a point where you're taking more in than the system is actually producing, you start to get into weird territory. That's where debt, that's where having... I think it is mainly just debt. And you're trying to provide so much for everyone else that you can't provide the basic safeties of the people that are in your immediate group.
yeah. So Social Security is fucking going away.
I don't even think
hospitals are getting overcrowded.
Yeah.
All the different things happen because of this. So now I'm back to round those motherfuckers up.
Or stop, just stop giving all the government handouts to everybody, citizen or non-citizen. Quit with the hand. That's really what drives a lot of this is all these fucking handouts.
What was the?
Or at least from the point, or from the standpoint of like breaking or drowning the entire lifeboat.
That's really the way to fucking get it all situated.
No, because I think there's more to it than that. I think a lot of these people, if it is true that they're emptying out the jails, they're telling them, hey, you can't stay here, but we'll let you out if you'll go north.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I heard they were saying, and who knows if that was just Trump saying Trump stuff or if that was real.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what's going on in the world.
It's
anymore.
2024, and who knows what is real? All of this could just be.
But if the government
the
government did quit giving handouts to everybody for everything in every situation because equality or whatever the fuck,
quality of opportunity, not of outcome.
Well, if all of a sudden they quit doing that, if you weren't willing to work, you get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Or you'd find something else.
Yeah, you. Oh God, never mind. It's a terrible joke. I say you can.
I tried making a swim here reference with that boat, and it didn't hit.
You don't have to. But I feel like that's the point.
Apparently, there's some people you can starve by hiding their food stamps under their work boots.
Oh shit!
I'm not going to say who.
Oh shit!
Not Mike Kozak. Yeah. No, it's. But what you're spreading yourself too thin, and this has happened. Like, why did part of Rome fall? Is because of not dramatic, tribes from the north and invading your
barbarians.
Germanic.
Getting into our next book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But invading lands and stuff. And it's like you only have enough resources for the people you have. That's why it's like, why do, in as much as Mike Zedong exists, he's like, in a certain way, I'm like, if it's a global society, barriers don't matter. But we're not a global society. And so you have to have the ability to protect your infrastructure and your people. If the gym was a country and people just kept coming in, Greg could not allocate his resources, his teaching to everyone. It would get so far spread thin that Electric North would become tainted water. It would be weak. Mm-hmm. And that's part of, I think, why it matters on these border issues when areas get flooded. And it's not like it's just us. We're seeing something weird in the world where there's a
coordinated mass migration into the Western world. This is coordinated.
Western world, but like Scandinavia's had this, Germany's had this.
But that's
for
Western
so
world.
Yeah, that is the Western world, Mike. We're talking about Western Europe and North America.
But I mean, yes,
the good parts.
But what America is having is so much from. I mean, we have Chinese, we have some African, but the main part of it is people from South America. And throughout the world, it's been from Africa, it's been from Somalia, it's been from all these countries that are...
I feel like there's the part that freaks me out as far as people coming across the border illegally is being undocumented completely, unvetted at all. And you see, like, and who knows if it's real or not, again, but you see videos, and it's like a bunch of Chinese guys.
Well, I guess
at the southern border
crossing,
and it's like there's a lot of fuck is going on.
There's known terrorists crossing that border,
and they just you will know my name.
Yeah, they're
you
not
will
doing,
know my name.
Yeah, they're not doing it for no reason.
But that's a problem for me.
How much? I should say, what are you willing? What's your boundary? At what point do you say, yeah, I'm okay with checkpoints. I'm okay with facial recognition cameras on traffic lights
at the border?
Yeah,
my fucking
yeah.
I mean, and it's been that way since the beginning of fucking time.
Well, I agree. Okay,
I think
at the border for sure.
Yeah, and a wall with fucking guys and a fucking 50 cal behind it.
If it comes to martial law in the states in order to round up illegal immigrants, are you behind that or are you against it?
Oh,
I'm against.
I'm against it. Yeah, no.
Martial law is a broad.
I was
a broadsword.
I don't want.
For a minute, I thought I was gonna have to shoot Jordan.
I don't want to. I don't want martial law. I was trying to reference, like, imagine a wall in the middle of, my bedroom.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, what's it like? That's what we need at the end of the fucking bedroom to make the room. Right.
Yeah.
We need that shit around our country, and by wall I mean security, and by security I mean facial recognition. If you want to play with your fucking crazy gadgets and do all that shit down there for people crossing all over the fucking place, be my guest.
Sure.
But don't bring that inland. Don't bring that further, a mile maybe border around the entire country. Like, and if you can get through there, like a
demilitarized zone across South Texas and Arizona.
100%. Are you kidding me? I got no problem with that. Some snake pussy and shit.
Like a free fire area.
It's like watching
mine that shit. Remember in Rambo when they're having to run across the minefields? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Seen that? Yeah.
See who goes.
Yeah, dude. I just imagine like a dog trying to get through an invisible fence. You know what I mean?
Be great training for
Rifleman.
Rifleman camp and fighter bomber pilots are training, troops in contact, and they're dropping cluster munitions on.
Yeah.
This sounds terrible.
I have I feel bad for the people who are coming here and they mean well and they're trying to enrich their life.
Yeah.
The people taking advantage of the situation,
Fuck them.
But I don't know who's who.
Exactly.
And that's the thing that's like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. And the fact that it's open borders, we just allow, it's fucking Doctors Without Borders out there right now. There's just allow everybody coming through, it's a fucking joke.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, I think it's planned because at the same time, it's happening in Europe, and you're seeing all the migration happening up there. It's like, well, how the fuck did you guys know to come?
I was 100% coordinated.
So, and
it's like you look at
Go ahead. Sorry.
You look at somewhere like Japan, and Japan doesn't seem to be nefarious towards anyone. But it's like, go try and become.
Hang on a minute.
They got solid
currently.
border.
Yeah, currently.
They got a good. They got a good border system.
But currently, Japan does not care about. They're not pushing buttons with anyone, and it's like, try and become a citizen of Japan, even as a well-established American. It's one of the hardest things to do, but.
Even Canada.
Yeah.
As an American, to move to Canada is almost impossible.
But
and we even had, remember White Belt Bob?
Yeah.
He was a Canadian citizen and a medical doctor. And at some point they just let his visa, they would not let him renew his visa.
So it's so weird when they have so many restrictions where they're like, we're doing this to uphold the actual integrity of this system. But then for another group or this is happening on one side, and then on the other side, they're like, whatever happens, free reign. It's hard to, if a parent says to do one thing and then they do the opposite, it's hard to look at them and be like, I'm going to follow this model. And that holds true for a country or for a nation.
No, I think you can break things down and looking at it, like I love what you were saying about the gym, and like having it on a small scale, because I don't think much changes as you get broader.
Yeah,
that is the reality, right?
Yeah.
There is absolutely ways in which to deal with things, and if somebody came to the gym and they were driving and they fucking went across the ditch and fucking across the front field, you think they'd be asked to leave? And that's what we're allowing in, is fucking people coming all fucking manners of ways. And it's just like...
Race car.
What is that?
It's cool is what it was.
That's an immigrant. That's the Bendito.
Yeah. But that's what's happening. So this does need to happen.
Because that's a great point, though, but you're seeing like exceptions made. When we say there's rules set in this place, but now we're constantly making exceptions to the rules, it feels like there's less.
I think rules need to be, exceptions can be made for exceptional people, and people who want to say everybody's the same has a real fucking hard time with that. And you go, no, motherfucker. Yeah. This guy is a doctor.
Yeah.
He is in this country working as a doctor.
Good. Very
You're
good
fucking
point,
welcome.
Jordan. Very good point.
Not, this guy, he worked in 7-Eleven in his country and is now hanging out, or this guy does fucking runs drugs, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And that's the problem, is like, the brain drain, you're welcome. We have a fucking amazing country, and people who are brilliant want to come here. That is it.
Yeah.
Sorry, but that's the fucking way of it, that it is. And if we need to say, hey, they can't come here because you need to make your country better, I get that too, but that's not really what's fucking happening. We're allowing so many fucking useless pieces of shit.
The way you attract the best and the brightest is by allowing equality of opportunity. When you guarantee equality of outcome, then you unmotivate the best and the brightest, because they go, well, why the fuck would I try? Right? Why should I try if I am guaranteed equality of outcome?
Yeah.
So the way to energize innovation and excellence is to not allow equality of outcome. You allow equality of opportunity, because that means you can be poor as shit. You can be broke as fuck. You can come from absolutely nothing, but if you're willing to try and you understand that the equality of opportunity exists, and that the equality of outcome is not guaranteed. That means you have a chance to win. If equality of outcome is guaranteed, that means nobody is allowed to win.
Yeah.
So why should anybody try?
Mm-hmm. I think in some regards, like, a creative's always going to create regardless.
But why share it, or why try to bring it to the world if equality of outcome is the same?
I
just keep it to yourself and your close friends.
I think there's something. Yeah, I think there's something about wanting.
In fact, I wouldn't share with a bunch of pieces of shit who just expected equality of outcome. I'd be like, "Fuck you! This is my creation."
Mm-hmm.
And if the idea is that you all get to benefit from it at the same level I do, after all the work and toil and sweat and tears I put into it, fuck you.
Mm-hmm. But we're taught that at such a young age, like, oh, if don't share if you didn't bring enough for the class.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like,
yeah,
well, fuck the other part.
Fucking Bobby.
These are my people.
Just because Bobby didn't think to bring fucking Oreos.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck him.
Fuck him. Fuck that kid.
But
I brought
I think
5
that's
cupcakes for my fucking ride or dies,
Yeah.
Miss fucking Anderson.
Yeah, yeah.
But
and that chick that showed me her bra strap last week.
Yeah, I touched her boobie. Yeah, she gets my frosting.
But I think that's where the left starts to try and put daggers in that, is that it's like, oh yes, we all want equality for everyone, but if you're born into, you have the ability to have successful parents, you're born into that and you can go to college, right? Compared to, like, say in a third world country, and you have a silver spoon in a way, compared to someone else that doesn't have a silver spoon. I get it. Yeah, of course. It's going to be so much harder to rise above that and shine. Like, if you come from a family of criminals and degenerates, to be like, I'm going to walk the straight and narrow and do good things in life, it is harder.
Well, that's the honorable thing, though, is like, that's the honorable thing, is doing it for the fucking sake of doing it, because that's the fucking right thing.
Yeah.
I am kind to you because I am kind and I am trying to be kind, not because I'm going to fucking get something out of it. And when you start making things, you have to be kind to get something, and like, that's not cool. That's the whole, like, a weak man can't be kind because they're weak. Yeah. A fucking savage can be kind because they're being kind. You know what I mean? Or whatever the fuck that saying goes. But what I think everybody understands what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I can't get behind all I'm thinking of is the starting line and the equality of outcome stuff. And I want people to have equal opportunity, but I also know that not having the same starting line for some people is what drives people.
It can be a benefit.
And what pushes a lot of motherfuckers to, like, dig deep and fucking say, you know what, I'm going to do better. Will do better.
You're saying having a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, like coming from behind.
Yeah,
you're
or
right.
just saying, you know what,
right.
like, life isn't fair.
Yeah.
And sometimes
life's tough, I'm tougher. Here we go.
Actually, not sometimes. Most of the time, having a silver spoon creates assholes.
Yeah, ruins people.
It doesn't create that. So it's like, well, do we want people with tougher lives because that creates harder people, or people that are willing to work harder?
I think it creates.
But at the same time, people with harder lives, do we have a bunch of people that were raised by assholes, and now we have a generation of assholes we're letting in here? It's kind of a tricky play.
Everybody always, like, says, like, how fucking badass Russians are. Like, Russian people are fucking hard motherfuckers, especially after they're coming off of an absolute travesty in the 90s when the Soviets fucking shut down and they went into a dark age.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so
agreed.
Hasn't their country kind of come up since then?
Yeah. And guess what? They're all hard as fuck from it, too.
Oh, yeah.
What were we doing in the 90s?
Yeah. Blink 182.
Fucking Friends came out.
Hey, Blink 182 is a great band.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
All I know is like there.
Look at this photograph.
That is not Blink 182.
Yeah,
Dude, that's your go-to.
Guess what? We're doing karaoke after this. We're going straight to karaoke. Hey, let's take a pee break real quick.
Pee break.
I had 26 cats growing up.
You counted them?
Yeah.
Holy shit. We had a rule that they had to survive a year to get a name.
I didn't know you were a 40-year-old woman back in the day, and then you trans to a man.
Yeah.
Somewhere trans is taking a whole new meaning.
Yeah, it took a hold of me hard when I was a kid.
We're talking barn cats?
No, they
the
were barn.
half?
They might as well have been barn cats. Are you kidding me? Like fucking. We had so many cats; it was ridiculous because they would like breed
but cats
with each other.
multiply.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
And that's how we
rabbits.
ended up with the 26 cats because like it was like, oh, here's a litter of cats, and it's like, holy shit, there's 12 of them, and then all of a sudden, like throughout the years,
Here's 24.
yeah, it was like, what the hell? Like one time, I found a cat named Mama, and I thought it was a kitten. This was the craziest thing. There was a bird that was like not flying away, and it was kind of like hopping all weird, like it had just gotten beat up or something. And I jumped out of the car, and I was like, oh. And I followed this bird that was hopping, and it like hopped into a wood pile trying to get away from a kid who's like, you know. And then I hear meow, and I was like, oh, there's a cat here. And then I looked, and there was a kitten, and I was like, holy shit, there's a kitten in here. How cool. And then I looked more, and because I kept hearing it, and there were a bunch of like baby kittens, like maybe a week old.
Yeah.
And then we ended up with like, I think 6 cats off that deal.
Yeah.
And like the cat's tail was all bent back and like busted because of probably
Do you ever think about
inbreeding.
Like intelligence and litter size? Like how the two, like cats?
Oftentimes.
Yeah.
Driving home.
You want some more mic thoughts?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Oh, yes.
All right, dude. So I think when things have large litters, like, or a large group of animals, when they gestate and they
they're
give
shotgunning
birth,
it. They're gonna
but there's a
split out
ton,
lot
and there's not a
some-
lot of brain matter. But things like whales, elephants, like they say woolly mammoths, they think their gestation period was 2 years.
Oh, shit.
And so, like, I don't really buy into the overkill hypothesis of animals being wiped out in North America like 10,000 years ago due to like Clovis people and hunters.
I haven't spent much money on that either.
I don't think it holds true, but something they like thinking of woolly mammoth, and it's like it takes 2 years for it to have one baby. So for every 1 year you're killing a female, that's half of just if it had a baby. That's if you missed it that year and got it the next year, well, then you're still 100% successful in starting to slow down the reproduction of this animal and having other. And like woolly mammoths were smart. Elephants are incredibly intelligent. They have one litter. Whales don't have 8 like a cat. Mm-hmm. So I think there's something like the bigger the animal it is, and maybe not just bigger too, but the longer it takes to reproduce, the smarter the thing it is. Like bunnies are stupid, and it takes them like 6 days, and they're having a litter, and on the 8th day,
But maybe
when
it's
God
the complexity.
rested,
Maybe
Complexity
smart
of cells.
organisms have a more complex nervous system.
so it takes longer to build that.
Yeah.
I think you're looking.
It's the difference between constructing
But
a
dogs
hospital and a strip mall.
But dogs are smart too in certain ways. Like dogs are very smart and you can teach them very well, but they are not strong, independent thinkers.
They're not.
Dogs are not real. Dogs are engineered. All dogs are engineered.
Yeah, you're right.
So
But they came from wolf packs.
Yeah,
They came
and-
from wolves, and they
and the strong survive.
Well,
just like
the
the
strong
cat.
survived, but they selectively
home.
bred to find the ones that were the most intelligent.
Well, they
and the
bred
ones
they bred the ones that were around that survived.
I guess I see where you
So-
say dogs don't count. Yeah.
So when you look at like certain things, I think when you're looking at a whale or a cat, anything that's herd mentality. I think those also, if it's, it has one baby, they also don't have one baby and fucking leave it.
Yeah.
After a couple months. Whereas when you have like one animal, typically that animal will stick with the baby for a year or 2 or fucking 3, or it's part
Monkeys
of the herd.
are longer.
Right?
Yeah, bears are like a year and then they send them out.
Yeah, so I think when you have that, the effort being put into said cub or animal or offspring, rather, that knowledge is being passed around because
But that's
you're
what I
teaching
mean. So the longer it takes you to produce it, the longer you stay ingrained with it too.
Well,
like rabbits and cats.
The ingrained part is the thing that really.
But that's staying with it. That's teaching it.
That's what I mean. I don't think it's
simple animals
it's
like a shrimp. A shrimp's born and it just knows how to be a shrimp. It's not like I'm hanging out with the older, wiser shrimp.
With the tide.
Yeah. So it just,
and that's numbers, right? They're just putting out a bunch of offspring and just hopefully.
But that's
survive.
a quick gestation.
Yeah, it's the shock.
So the quicker the pregnancy, and also the smaller the more the litter.
Dude, size doesn't matter as much as you're making out.
Yeah, but they have tons
Volume.
like fish, like fish eggs. I think roe's delicious. I eat it, but in retrospect, it's just this fish being like, I'm going to put out 1 million of whatever I can. And they're the dumbest things in the world. But when you put out one thing, you seem to be smarter. You're more intelligent, have more.
Well, I think there's more effort being put into it.
Yeah.
Right? If it's your only thing to think about. Whereas if you had, you have.
No idea. How about this, though?
So
what if you took a shrimp egg and maybe a shrimp egg took 30 days to be fertilized and now it hatches? What if you found a way to slow down that growth so it took a year for that shrimp egg to hatch? Do you think you could raise super smart,
intelligent shrimp?
Yeah, exactly. Like a dog. Like, what if you had a shrimp that was dog smart?
Oh, you could absolutely look. If you had a bunch of shrimp,
take a year,
and you picked out the smartest of those shrimp, and whatever metrics you wanted to create for them and breed them,
they could
be like, I want this shrimp to go into this
have
net.
attack characteristics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I absolutely you could.
He can juggle.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's weird. But that's what like you said, dogs don't count. It's like, yeah, I understand what you're saying because you're picking the best.
Yeah.
Breeding is interesting that nature has ways of the things that are the most complex to allocate the most time for them to develop. But then when man, just
it's
like
eugenics,
technology,
right? Yeah.
Right? I'm manipulating the material around me. When you manipulate the animals around you, you can do some cool stuff.
Fuck yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we get into eugenics pretty quickly. Right? But
it's weird, but that makes sense for people to be like,
that's what dog
I've
breeding
done.
is, right?
Yeah.
Animal
100%.
breeding,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
100%,
the master race. That's the master plan. That's Hitler. That's people saying that selective breeding is the best. And it's like, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Because I see evolution too do it in its own way. Evolution does it through like the free market, like buying things. You have inflated money like the government, but you have the free market where people put their money in it and they say, let the market decide. Right. Mm-hmm. And so you have like the natural world of evolution and growth where it's like just everything's happening at once. It's all random chance. And so you have different things that seem to do better than others and outbreed or keep growing. And it's through all the pressures of life. But then sometimes you can remove the pressures of life and like speed it up, which is dogs, which is selective breeding, which is bananas. Original bananas
were tiny,
had tons of seeds, weren't big. And through selective breeding, humans have made them better.
Them huge.
Yeah, the biggest.
And sweetest.
You ever have a black banana?
You're welcome.
But it's crazy what, like, taking those same things, those ideas of like what breeding is. And if you could take like a shrimp, I mean, I'm putting this out there to a scientist that listens to this, or
I'm just stuck on them juggling. How many arms do they have?
a shrimp.
Yeah.
They got all this tentacles.
It's like 16 or
you know what? But shrimp don't. What do? They shoot water out, right? You ever see those videos of those shrimp that kill fish by like taking in water and blowing it out?
Yeah,
and
pistol shrimp.
Yes.
Yeah. Pistol shrimp.
Explain.
They move so fast, and it's an air bubble that they create.
Oh, like a cavitation.
Creates a shockwave, and
it like breaks the sound
you can
barrier.
actually see a spark.
No shit.
I believe so. Yeah, cool. And they can fuck up. I mean, obviously, like cameras.
Small fish.
Yeah. But yeah, they'll fuck up. So you can put them in your tank, right?
Oh, cool.
And they basically like
kill all your goldfish.
Yeah, they'll kill the goldfish and they'll eat them. It's like, that's pretty tight. That shit to me is like evolution versus selective breeding, and like for certain traits,
the
like
free market.
The dog stuff blows my mind. Like I love looking at different dogs,
but you see how it's done. You see man's influence and how he came up with that. Where evolution happens, and you're like, how the fuck did this happen?
Well, you look
how
at
did
a
the
fucking
free
Chihuahua
market pick this,
and you look at a fucking wolf, and you go, huh?
How did that?
How did we do
get
this?
there?
How did we do it? And the cool thing about dogs is because something with
I got some dogs barking.
The what'd you say? Did ingestion pregnancy period?
Oh,
gestation. Thank you. Golly, I'm fucking brain fart over here. Per usual, the gestation period when they're shorter, and you can have a relatively complex, animal like a dog or whatever, being like.
But they also come out
multi-cell,
in big litters.
But that's also good, right? Because you also have that many more
ability,
dogs to look at and go, okay, these ones are the ones we're going to pass on, and we're going to take this litter, and then you start putting those together, and it can happen really quick because the gestation period of a dog is like what, 4 months,
6 months,
4 or 6 months, something like that. So it's short. So the turnaround time is fast. So you can have a human can have a lot of influence on something like that in a short amount of time. It's like there was a Russian scientist who wanted to create foxes that were pets, right? You heard of this guy?
No.
So he took wild foxes, feral foxes, and then basically bred them to be friendly. So wild fox breeds them, feeds them. They don't want anything to do with them. He's trying to feed these foxes by hands and like create rapport with them. And I think it took like 3 breeding cycles to where the foxes weren't scared of him naturally. And then it took another like 2 to where they would fucking eat out of his hand. And then 20 down the line, he's got these foxes that are absolutely fucking pets. And that's why you can buy a fox right now that like rolls around like a dog, and it wants to be around you. It's like a cat dog fucking mix. Ugh. And you say that, but they're fucking crazy. They're cool. They run around like it's a fox, right? But they're like dogs, kind of.
Do you think if you did it long enough with an alligator, like hatch them from an egg in like a person's hand, and it identifies with you in 20, 30, 40, 50, 1,000, a million generations later, you have alligators that are more
domesticated,
without
docile
question.
to people?
Without question. I think you can do it with anything. Yeah. I truly do. I think if you breed for things, but I mean, morally,
a snake
you can get away with it.
An alligator's harder than a horse or a dog or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like it's more evolved.
I think the
they're more simple brained with like the kill
reptilian.
Sleep.
The basic instincts, whereas a horse has herd and all that.
Yeah, I think when you start adding those things into it, you can because dogs pack mentality, right? Like that you can build something.
That's true. Pack mentality is an evolution over the reptilian simplicity.
Do you ever think like like you go from those, if like looking at, like I say evolution's a free market and man is like the government inflating the market. It's a false market that you're altering how it goes. But if things just kept happening and we didn't become people like the way we are, and the technology and just how much we've changed the world, like, what do you think? Do you think like it could have been anything that keeps going on to the next generation? Like monkeys and people seem to be like, yeah, we're on a trajectory where we're smart and we're covering the world and we're able to use tools and manipulate the world around us. But if for some reason there was monkeypox or something that fucked up and killed the apes, like something 1 million years, 2 million, 7 million would become that next thing. And it's like, well, what's the most evolved thing close to people or monkeys? Actually, technically monkeys.
What was the question?
What do you think would be the next? What's the next closest to us?
like the next
whales
organism?
and dolphins are super smart, but they can't manipulate the environment around them.
No opposable thumbs.
What's the thing that's closest? It's like, dude, it has a very significant impact on the planet and has a strong structure or hierarchy as an animal or together or seen.
No, it's tough to surpass primates.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, where does
I
that
think
go?
ants and bugs in
And
certain
maybe as like
capacities.
a collective.
But they've
if there
been
were a way
around
to be
before
collectively aware.
mammals.
No.
Bugs have been around
Yeah,
forever.
they're even more simple than reptiles, probably.
And they reproduce with
except
tons.
they have the communication.
Like, you ever
aspect.
clean out a
I don't know.
spider web?
I don't know.
You ever clean out a spider web or somewhere in like your overhang or your roof, and you're cleaning it out and you find a spider web with an egg nest?
Oh, yeah.
There must be 5,000 eggs in the thing the
More
size
than-
of
it's
a
like
pea.
millions. Yeah. Yeah.
You know? And it's like, they're just not smart. Could you ever like selectively breed that
but then it's
spider
like,
and
what-
make it like people?
But those things all go off. Those babies go off and build crazy intricate webs.
Yeah, but they're not taught, once again.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, they just
But-
know how to do.
So, I mean, but is
They're
that not
a
still
much simpler form of life?
Did you ever see
They
that?
don't have the complexity of like the primate that has the
Okay,
opposable
well,
thumbs and the
Neither one of you have
intelligence.
seen Charlotte's Web, apparently.
I'm more of a Babe Pig in the City kind of guy. Did you ever see that thing where they gave spiders different drugs and then they spun
Oh, yeah.
webs where
Yeah,
they did
yeah,
like LSD
Yeah, kinda
and
crazy.
weed and speed?
I can't remember which
Caffeine.
one was
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
coolest. Which one was the one that was like, was it weed that they did like a crazy web, or was that one all fucked up?
I think a lot of them weren't looking good. But
I think it was like MDMA was the one that was all concentric and whatever.
Yeah, that is we'll have to look at that picture. We'll have to pull that up. Well, hard. Where we?
What?
hang on. Is it this one?
No,
I wanted this
definitely
one.
not. Green.
What's just the womp
Green.
womp womp?
There we go. A year in, we just found out what these buttons do.
This is awesome.
Shit.
Yep. Well, boys, that's where we're at. Hit
Animal
pause
chat.
for a second, and we're gonna have to edit that.
You hit pistol shrimp. I was
Yeah.
happy.
Well, I mean, the pistol shrimp are cool as shit.
Yeah.
Cool as shit. They're one of my favorite
Something about AI.
shrimps. Oh, I think they're. I can't remember exactly what it's called, and that's why I hate to bring it up without having my I's dotted and T's crossed, like I always do out here. But basically, it's AI that's going to be decentralized, that anybody can add to it.
Is that really intelligent then?
Yeah.
Or is it more just a cross-referencing of
I guess it's
billions of sources?
I'll say this.
Yes.
It's
more input, the better.
but
It's
that's not
open.
intelligence.
It's
Yes,
unregulated.
No, it isn't.
What is the collective?
It's,
Right
it's
now-
just if it's limited to its database and unable of learning on its own, then
So the
it's
more
not
its
intelligent.
database has input
Which
put
to be
into
fair,
it,
that sounds like us.
but But the more it has put into it, the more it has an understanding of everyone's collective opinion.
Yeah, but
That's
I could put
the
something
idea.
into it that is complete bullshit.
Yeah, so it's going to learn from everyone's input. What is sarcasm? What is misinformation? What is when you have everything that you could ever see?
How does it learn? What is its process for learning?
So how did you learn? Trial and error,
I actually
mistakes.
don't know.
Yeah, that whole system.
I actually don't know.
That's the way you get an open AI. I think you should have open source coding for
But
things.
I like the idea of a decentralized AI because that means that one powerful group can't control what the AI believes.
That's like Bitcoin.
Because at the end of the day, my children are programmable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if the super leftist Google gets to dominate the AI algorithms for the next 30 years, then they will control that.
But I think the AI, I can't remember what the gal was talking about. Basically, it's at the point where AI surpasses humans in intelligence.
Oh yeah, that's it. It's
and
instant.
that's what happens when you take the governor off of AI. So they're saying we're going to let AI do what AI wants to do and give it the tools and people can put into it to surpass humans as far as intelligence goes and allow it to build itself.
Do you know what a hard singularity and a soft singularity is when it comes to AI?
Oh, I'll show you one.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called, a singularity.
Yeah, the singularity is the point where AI technically develops. And the concepts are two things. It's soft singularity and hard singularity. Singularity. Thank you. When it's hard, it's like Terminator style. Like you give something
T-1000
with
metal.
It has the ability to acknowledge itself in self-preservation, and it sees maybe human beings as fucking things up for other things in the world, and it's like you're using me to clean rooms, you're destroying the planet, maybe you're using me as a slave. Why do that? I can control you. I am the smartest thing ever, and I'm going to take over this planet, use its resources, and boom, take off into the universe. It's the birth of a mind. A soft singularity is when it's AI, you achieve it where you're like, holy shit, we created the smartest living entity on a computer that can figure out things instantly, like quantum style. But it's not nefarious. It's not positive. It's not negative. You're using it for the way in which you want, and you have a merger. Just the same way you've used technologies for pacemakers, you've used them for insulin applications. There's many ways in which AI has benefited us.
AI will never surpass humanity because it cannot have intuition.
Yeah, but you can have a smart robot that almost seems that way.
Almost seems is not the same as having a fucking gut feeling.
But
it doesn't have guts.
Is it pattern recognition as well as looking at someone and seeing the vibes they're putting off?
It's sensing their vibe.
Yeah. But vibes are sent by
AI is not well.
But sensing vibe is pattern recognition.
Yeah,
it might be
how their hair's standing up,
whether or
how
not,
their skin looks, their eyes.
It's the electromagnetic signal you're sending off.
Yes.
You're still sending a signal off.
Yeah.
And
you
right. Don't think that AI could come up with
up and correlate.
Well, all of a sudden, it just goes, and then all of a sudden it knows exactly what you're fucking thinking, and now it's sending you fucking ads or whatever.
Well, god damn it.
You know what I mean? But that's
the world I want to live in. Is like, you're growing tool. No,
here he goes.
Do I want AI that's negative and wants to destroy everything?
I liked you talking earlier about having walls and how it matters and borders or things.
But I mean, I think our gym does very well because Greg has a very open policy. He opens it to everyone else in every other gym, where so many gyms don't do that. And I think that sets up a strong structure of only a doctrine ingrained in this area. Like I say, sex is the biggest thing. And when you have cross-contamination of everything, that's what understanding and growth is. That's why I think for AIs and governments, it has to be everyone's input.
Everybody who comes through that door is vetted. Period. That's it. That's all there is to it. And we're allowing people to come across borders that are not vetted, right? And like it's like I said, like if somebody walked through the fucking woods and came out, we'd be like, what the fuck? And all eyes would be on this one person, and they would have scrutiny. And they wouldn't necessarily be asked to leave, but they would be interviewed.
But technically, if you already knew who that person was, if there was input constantly, AI recognizes, it gives and so you see like.
If we knew who it was and it was just like, oh.
But that's where it goes to honesty is key. The truth is the only thing that matters. In a way, truth breaks down your walls in what you feel is your rights, which I believe you need defined borders of your own sovereignty as a person. But the truth of the world around us, that's what technically shows us what is real and what isn't, right? That's why I say, like, in that Trump assassination, it's cool that we get the news and all that, but we get every view from cell phone videos where I'm watching them on Twitter and Instagram, X, and it's being shown all the different vantage points and the people before the news is putting it out there. I only get that because every person is instantaneously having the ability to put out their reality and their truth. I think there's something about a collective and not having ambiguity in certain ways. You deserve personal sovereignty, yes, but the more reality of life is captured and shown and truth is honestly being told, it gives you a better road to walk down to develop your ideas or what you think is really happening. Does that make sense?
Mm-mm.
Perfect.
Not even slightly.
Sounds about right.
Oh, good. Because I was like, man, I'm really lost.
No,
I think,
dude.
But that's what a collective is. Like everyone says, the mind, the spirit, people are human. Like I did this experience and now I feel I'm tied in. Well, what does tied in mean? Tied in means you have a connection with every person around you. What that's doing is putting up the facilities to create a mesh, a gate that intertwines every one of you and gives you a little bit of an understanding.
You're talking like a divine matrix?
Yeah. There is a divine matrix in this world.
Yeah.
But it is not that book. I'll absolutely tell you that. But there is things, and why those exist is because everything is taking a knee to this process. And I think part of a process of having real awareness and intelligence is just capturing every moment and understanding it. And as much as that does like traffic cams and all this shit, I mean, this is brand new. Traffic cams haven't been around for 100 years, but we're learning and we're seeing the repercussions of having these things and how they make people react, right? As we get further down this road where more truths are coming out, I think the way we react to them dictates how our future is set.
Let's just pause on that for a second.
Okay, cool.
Just a simple question.
Yeah.
Do you think traffic cameras have made the world safer?
Probably not.
No, they're purely for revenue.
Okay.
Which is predatory.
Yes.
It's the municipalities preying on the residents.
But you probably do in school areas, because I've gotten a couple tickets there.
Probably do what?
I've been caught speeding way past the school zone limits when no children are present. I'll say that, but I'm like, no problem. I can skate through here.
So,
but
is that
having
not
gotten
ambiguity that you're talking about?
But having those
decisions to be made by one person?
Yes, but it's also like maybe it makes me reflect. It's like, it's not like I'll never speed.
They just send
and
you
when
a
I can
picture
get
and they're
away
like,
with
you
it.
owe us money.
But during school hours, I do find myself going a lot slower through those areas.
Do you think that the kids that are out of class during school hours should maybe be hit?
Yes, but no. And it's like, I don't want to hit a kid. And that's a problem if I do.
No
that.
shit.
So it does make me think. But I speed and so when I go through those areas when it's not school hours, I'm peeling rubber, baby. You know what I mean?
Just to prove a point.
Yeah, exactly. But when it's school hours, I do drive a lot slower through those areas. But it's my truth. It's like, I think it's fine to get to work this way. But then it's like, oh, dude, I did get a couple tickets at Ding, but it's like, it's going 15 over in the school area during hours. You know what I mean? And so it's like, yeah, but I'm learning how to deal with these things too. I could just be like, fuck this, and I fight the ticket and stuff. But it's also like, I can be like, all right.
Internalize it
when
a
it's,
little bit.
Yeah, but that's the point. As a culture, as people, we're learning how to deal with these truths. And
so, okay,
but it doesn't.
Okay, so let's go back. Let me ask another question.
Yes, sir.
School areas makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
The city of Linwood putting a fucking
Doesn't.
light up, or they have every single light has traffic cameras, and they're gridded out. They are just that's revenue hunting. That's all that is. That is all.
But
that is.
But you're learning a truth. You're seeing where this can be.
They also shortened like the yellow cycle by
Fuck those
2
guys.
seconds or something like
to
that.
get more tickets.
Yes.
Yeah. But what you're seeing is how these the truths of like, okay, in maybe a school zone, we shouldn't do it, or like this is good to enforce here. But in certain areas, you can be like, hey, as a culture, as citizens, as a society, it's like,
Let's
you guys
protect
are
kids.
just trying to fucking get money and hit people trying to get home from work in an area that has no people crossing. That's like setting up on a freeway in an area that's 70, you know? And they're like, oh, we got you going 78. It's like, dude, lanes are open.
Yeah.
No one's crossing the street. You're trying to just get revenue.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I mean-
you're seeing as a culture, we're learning how to deal with truths and what it is more. There are pages dedicated on Instagram and Twitter to fucked up cops giving bad tickets and stuff. You're seeing the truths. We are very infant in this growth, this pistol shrimp we find ourselves in. We're spitting that
We're also at
shockwave
like
out.
a critical juncture where this growth of information is either going to become highly censored or highly uncensored. You know what I mean? There's this battle right now with Elon Musk has basically freed any voice on Twitter, and you have the EU threatening to like even us. Technically, the EU is threatening to extradite for talking about the fact that their citizens are rising up against them.
Do you think it gives us more listeners if we get shut down in the UK?
Ooh, that would be badass. We should.
Dude, maybe
we should get
VPN will
some
be a
we need-
sponsor.
All right, we need some wanted posters. That would be fucking badass, dude. I've wanted to be an outlaw for so
Yeah.
long. Let's do this.
I've been saying it. Jordan's become a bad boy over the last
Billy the
couple
Kid,
months,
dude.
dude.
Billy the
Yeah,
Kid.
we
He's like-
got it, bro.
He's like the sweetest gunslinger.
Yeah, that's what they call me.
Makes a mean brisket.
Blue-eyed Jordan.
Yeah.
He did have a kettle
Pew,
of
pew.
beans. You had a kettle of beans last week.
did.
Yeah. That was pretty gunslinger.
My calling.
That was
my calling.
pioneer, actually. Yeah.
Shit.
No, we've. I do think that we're getting fucked by the government in those ways, and I don't know of anybody who's like, that's a good idea, except the people who are like, wow, my paycheck would get a little higher if we had more money.
But once again, we're learning because everything's being put out. Like I said,
but that's something that it's not. It takes no fucking common sense. I don't need to know. I look up, I see traffic cameras, I go, oh, they're after my money.
Yeah.
And what are they? I am not creating inherently dangerous environment by going fast here. I'm not creating it's 2 a.m.
yeah.
Nobody's around. There's a red light. No cars. I look both ways. Guess what? That's a fucking stop sign in my mind.
But think of it in like China or France back in the day. Like we're no, seriously.
What? How
is how
far
I
back?
think of-
How far? How back? Far back?
How
are we
else
going?
would I think about traffic?
1700s in France, China, all throughout time, governments and leaders and their people all the time. How long would it take a tyrannical ruler to be overthrown by its people? It could be hundreds of years of tyranny. We have Braveheart made about it, you know, and it takes time because word doesn't travel fast.
Okay.
We instantly get technologies of printed press, radio, television, internet, Communication is happening
Mike,
faster.
Do you not think the tools of oppression are growing just as fast?
I think Mike's point
They're
is just
growing.
that revolution can start faster. It can be
Yes,
inflamed faster.
the people
It can,
have a better.
but so can oppression.
Yeah.
But disinformation's always been there. The ability, what you're talking is two different things. You're talking the freedom of information and the input of disinformation or propaganda. And propaganda we've seen through World War II.
Yeah.
We've seen it
And
throughout
how fast
history.
can it come out now?
Even faster.
Exactly.
But at the same
So
time,
nobody
we're
knows
seeing
what
a
the
battle.
fuck is going on.
But in the past,
We know something's amiss,
but
because we're watching a battle we've never watched before.
But you're looking at it the wrong way. Information is catching up faster than disinformation is growing. In the past, when you ruled, you were only one set. The people had no organization, and disinformation was put out at a much faster rate. As communication grows, information is exchanged faster. There has never been a better point for people to exchange ideas. What you're seeing, why all this chaos is happening, is because information is surpassing disinformation. And that's just why it's fun to be here right now.
Hey, well, it's kind of it's what
You ain't wrong. You ain't fucking wrong.
Yeah.
it's hard to know what is information and what is disinformation, and in
That's
what
fine.
and in
That's
what
part of it.
ratio we're seeing it.
People have been confused all throughout time. Confusion is okay. Admit it.
We used to just sort of blindly accept that the information we were relayed was correct because who would want to mislead us?
So
And
there's
now-
going to be
and
some
now
growing
we're
pains.
all we've sort of all realized that we're being misled, and we're all questioning what the fuck.
But that's
And so that brings me
it's the
back to
growing
your point,
pains.
Mike.
Yeah.
This is a fascinating time to be alive.
But that's what I mean.
And it's kind of fun to sit here with you gentlemen and have a little commentary on it.
Yeah, but that's what I mean
You
about
distinguished fucking
From,
lads.
especially from cruising altitude.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. This is the best though. This isn't boring. This isn't misleading. These ideas take a lot of steps to get there. But why I think like the animal evolution is great thing to talk about is because the same way, like what technology wants, we're witnessing growth in certain ways. And when you apply it not only to technology, but people as a culture, as a community, and when you can see how oppressors oppressed, the enlightened, the non-enlightened, you see different groups using this and all kind of growing together. It's fun to take those parameters of the past and start putting them into where we're living now. Mm-hmm. I think it's fun to be like, our revolution we're having now is a sex bot that the oppressed in the past could never imagine, because it's like, it's so luscious and you bite on it so hard. No, if you had a pitchfork back in the day and they're like, we're rallying against the king, you're like, yeah, this is kind of cool. For one moment I was in it, and I went to overthrow the king. But like, it's constantly hitting on all these things on your feeds where it's pulling you in, and you're like, oh, this is a little bit more nuts. Oh, that's a little bit more nuts. And I feel it pulls every person closer, like I was saying, the collective, to feel this moment of chaos. Chaos will happen all throughout time, but to pull everyone into chaos and recognize it, I think is a very strong thing for humanity to give a good trajectory forward, to figure out what's really happening and say, this is the path every person needs to go on.
Do you think that, like an addict, society needs to bottom out before it can fix itself?
Maybe what's happening is we're recognizing bottoming out.
I don't think we're there yet.
No, but you're recognizing
But we're
the
getting
walls
close.
crumbling.
Yes,
And that's
yes.
what bottoming out is understanding
but
what's
we're
happening around you.
Not there yet. And I think people don't realize how bad it could possibly get.
Rome.
Rome.
Yeah.
Rome boys.
Yeah.
You think that's where we're at?
Feels like it.
Maybe we can correct ourselves. Maybe that soft merger. I'm not saying tech's bad, and I don't want a hard merger. No one wants a hard merger, especially from behind. But a soft merger. But I don't know. This is good. This is my true heart talking of like where I would like to see people going. I think we're a unique species. We've done a lot of good. We've done a shit ton of bad, but the things we've done are very impressive. I would like to continue. I would like to die thinking I'm going to be impressed where this species goes, who I was and the people I influenced around me and what that put out. Hundreds, thousands, millions of years. I would like to think that it was something positive that didn't create it to crush.
I like that a lot.
Fucking A. Let's end it there.
Womp, womp, womp.
We'll put that on his headstone.